All right, guys, welcome to the Royal Rumble post show. We are talking about five old men way past their bedtime, and I don't even think it. I don't think even it was worth it. I got to tell you, I was about to cancel this whole thing after this mess.
Horrible, absolutely horrible.
Real quick before we start, on the Royal Rumble end of it, anyway, let's discuss. A little bit about Vince McMahon. Joe, you want to start with particulars, and maybe we'll all weigh in on that.
Yeah. Let's start off with the first one here with TKO. As we know, Mr. McMahon does not control TKO, nor does he oversee the day-to-day operations of WWE, the representative said. While this matter predates our TKO executives team tenure at the company, we take Ms. Grant's horrific allegations very seriously and are addressing the matter internally. So that was comment number one. So you knew what was coming down the pike. And, of course, here you go, Mike, you take this one.
This is Vince to, I guess it's a tweet, right?
Yeah.
Or a message. Out of respect to the WWE Universe, the extraordinary TKO business and its board members and shareholders, partners and constituents. Wow, that's a good word to use. And all the employees and superstars who helped make the WWE into a global leader. It is today I have decided to resign from my executive chairmanship and TKO board of directors effective immediately. And that was January 26, 2024 from Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Looks like brand new.
I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on this whole thing.
Sure.
I think in this country, we have built this reputation of allowing people to become these juggernauts, and then we love to tear them down, and then we love to bring them back up. I mean, there's so many certain examples, Michael Vick. I mean, I'm just throwing things right off the top of my head, the dude from Friends, whatever. But the case here, and argue with me if not, this woman met Vince McMahon in the same apartment, like complex they were both living at. Yep. Somehow gets involved with him. He hires her. They have some kind of sexual affair. He then starts to, do whatever with her, take pictures, whatever else. She takes money from him. He buys her cars. He gives her surgery. He throws it at John Laurinaitis. Supposedly, it's not confirmed, but, somehow she was in a negotiating terms with a former MMA heavyweight champion. My point here is I would like to see that if someone, first of all, what is the value of an NDA if someone could just not abide by it? Like, at what point does someone have to pay for breaking what they signed? Like, it doesn't matter. This is not a morality thing. Again, I've said this the last time this went around. It's a morality. I'm sorry. It is a morality thing. It's not a business thing. And that's where the problem lies here, right? The guy, as a chairman, you could probably say that he's in charge, right? Benny's working for me, and I make advances on Benny, and Benny is in fear of losing his position, so he'll just go with what I'm telling him.
And even Mike can't keep his hands off the player.
Well, there you go. But that's abuse, and I agree with that. And that goes into like the Harvey Weinstein thing.
Yeah.
But it was clear this girl was partaking in every situation all the way down the road, and you could use any excuse you want. And I got to tell you, I'm getting really tired of this. Some people have to pay for the moves that they make. And in the end result, what is Vince McMahon going to lose here? He'll lose maybe his legacy. And by the way, these people who lose their legacy, like Michael Jackson, after they're said and gone, people forget about it. And all of a sudden there's documentaries talking about how great they are anyway. Yeah. So, I mean, that's my point. You start with Joe, weigh in, Bruce, Phil, Benny.
After reading the the whole entire document that's out there now and how graphic it was and everything. One word, one symptom that's going to be thrown out there, you're going to hear it's going to be called trauma bond. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but yeah, this girl ventured into a relationship with Vince McMahon and things got out of hand. We get the graphic of it. We get the graphic nature. But I think the overall point here is for this lawsuit is the fact that the NDA that was in effect, she's trying to prove that it was broken on his end. Has nothing to do with money. There's no money being involved here. Vince paid her $1 million out of the $3 million, but I think she lawyered up, so that's why Vince stopped paying the money. Then they had this crazy investigation back in 2022. They didn't even interview her or anybody that was involved, so that's why Vince came back for a while. Now this is happening. So, on the public persona side of it and the graphic details that come out, it's going to be tough. I mean, the proof is there that there was I'll say borderline inappropriate relationship, because at the end she was saying no, but yet she was still going through with these so-called rendezvous with physical therapists and friends and whatever. And all because, she didn't want to lose her job. She started out at $75,000 a year. Then that doubled within a couple of years. So, right now we're looking at the graphic details of it. I do believe there was a statement right here from the New York Post. She actually, the lawyers actually put this up today. This was the New York Post interviewed one of the lawyers, and they said she hopes any doors of secrecy have been blown off their hinges and that fresh air will fill the headquarters. She hopes that those at the company, past and present, who fear speaking out about harm is a thing of the past, and she wishes everyone peace. And that's the lawyers. And they also said that there's going to be more documentation. People will be named because they are now looking for an indictment. I think this is going to turn criminal somewhere down the line. That's what the lawyers think. But names are going to start coming out now. Now, we all assume that the UFC heavyweight champion who's involved is Brock Lesnar. Obviously, that had a tremendous effect on this horrible premium live event called the Royal Rumble tonight. No Brock Lesnar. The dirt sheets reporting that he was pulled, or whatever the word was, he was yanked out of there. So, I honestly think, in regards to the lawsuit and tonight, I think there was that cloud over the Royal Rumble tonight, and this was a horrible, horrible show that the WWE put on. Absolutely horrible, and that's my opinion right now. You can take it, Bruce.
Well, let's first of all say that the upper class lives a different lifestyle than the rest of us, because we see that with the Epstein Island and stuff going on in the rest of the world. So I don't even want to touch it, but hey, listen, Vince is in those upper echelon of people, and
yeah,
what happens up there sometimes, that's why they have those NDAs. And you know what? If he would have kept up with his payments on the NDA, guess what? We may not have had this conversation right now.
Yep.
So,
right.
Well, I'm gonna let Phil take over, because there's really, other than that, you went over pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
We should call this around the horn. I like it.
Yeah, the timing of this in so many ways is horrible. Obviously, this all came out, really close to really after the merger occurred, and 40 years and 3 days after the birth of Hulkamania. This is just what we need, right? Horrible, and right on the eve of a pay-per-view, one of the major 4 pay-per-views, no less. And the situation, it's so funny. She said something about getting fresh air on the situation, especially in light of some of those stinky charges she made. I don't understand it. Some of the stuff happened in the office, an office full of people just outside the door,
Yeah.
So, just in that scene alone, it makes me wonder, how much force was used. No one was holding her against her will with any weapons or anything else. I don't believe she was locked in there. I mean, some of this occurred at the office in Stamford with, business as usual outside. So it just stinks.
What I would do for $3 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mean stuff like this? these are excerpts from the lawsuit.
Yes, fresh air indeed. Yeah.
McMahon defecated on Miss Grant's head, and then Vince instructed Miss Grant to remain in place with the excrement in her hair and to continue performing for his friend, which was the physical therapist. They continued the threesome, and Vince directed Miss Grant's sexual performance, and they, for another hour and a half while she was left in feces. This is just some of the graphic details that were
okay. But again, if anyone look, is it possible that happened? Maybe. Okay. Maybe. But let's not forget, they also have documented that Vince McMahon then gave her $20,000 for some kind of situation that she needed help with. So again, she returns back to work after being defecated on. I mean, that's about as low as you can get, right? I mean, let's call it like it is before we go to Benny. This is a high price call girl. And you know what? She's got paid for everything that she did. So, again, if Vince already caught wind that she was lawyering up and he knew what was happening down the road already, I would say, screw it, I ain't paying her either. And, in the end result, this girl's going to get out of her NDA, right? Write this trash book. Vince will die at some point, and it'll all mean nothing. And I'm going to go with what Phil said on the eve of one of the top pay-per-views. And this could, this we'll talk about the pay-per-view, but this couldn't have been worse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Benny?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows I have no respect for Vince McMahon. I lost respect for Vince McMahon the night Owen Hart fell to his death, and he didn't give everybody their money at the Kemp Arena in Kansas City their money and tell them to go home. The next match came on. His blood, Owen's blood, was still not even dry on the mat, and the floorboards were broken. And the saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, there's a freaking forest fire. This is one of how many NDAs the guy signed. Yep. Not to mention Rita Chatterton, who alleges that he raped her. And I mean, come on, this guy's somewhere between a criminal. At the worst, he's a criminal.
Are you talking about Rita Chatterton, who looks like a foot, to quote Jimmy Farrow, for a face? The great Vince McMahon has to go to a girl that looks like a foot because he's so desperate. That's the woman he chooses. I'm just asking, Petty. I'm just wondering.
I don't know. I'm just saying, come on. How many NDAs are there out there? I mean, Jesus.
Well, it's 12 and a half, $14 million.
When you're paying people like a total of $15 million not to talk, about the shit that you've done, literally. Come on. But this is just the tip of the iceberg.
There's other stuff involved.
$4 billion. What's $1 million or $2 million?
Wait a minute, though. There's other stuff involved. He has his wife who's in politics. He doesn't want to mess her up. He's looking to sell. He's looking to make money. Yeah. So the guy likes to have sex with women. I'm not absolving him of this. And, Benny, I got to ask you about this. If you own the WWE and Owen Hart falls to his death, you just stop the show and you just call it a night and you send everybody home?
Yep, 100%.
Well, I think
really sorry, folks. I'm sorry you had to see this. We're going to give you your money back. Well, we'll give you for another show in the future or whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I remember back then the story was that Vince asked the talent if they wanted to stop the show.
I don't believe that.
I mean, that's
Benny, I can challenge you with that because D'Lo Brown, if you all saw the interview with him, he said that they were asked. Who else said they were asked that I interviewed? Whoever, I can't even remember off the top of my head because it's past midnight. Each and every one of them said he gave the group the opportunity to say if they wanted to stop the show. And you know what they said? Owen would want to keep going on. Are they lying for Vince McMahon? I think, we vilify
We're talking about wrestlers here. I mean,
I mean, you saw the grief on all their faces during the interviews. Deborah McMichael was absolute wreck with Jeff Jarrett. I mean, they were obviously visibly upset. But the show went on, and
well, wait a minute. Again, Benny, I always appreciate your thoughts, right? This is a great thing about having a discussion. But I'll tell you what, you said those are the wrestlers. What about the fans? The last fan I saw was behind Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler making funny faces in the camera, pointing out that Owen Hart fell to his death. He didn't seem too bothered by it. Neither did the other 25,000 people because they continued to watch the show. And I guess what? I don't know who watched that pay-per-view. I didn't turn it off. I watched the whole thing. Did
Yeah,
anyone
I-
turn it off?
I didn't see it, so I heard about it the next day.
What at the Camparino one where he fell to
Yeah.
his death? I watched the
Mhm.
rest of it. Yeah,
Of course.
yeah. I mean, I think a
I
lot
mean,
of
we all put ourselves on these soapboxes, but we're not in that position. And
Yeah.
you know what? It takes a leader to make a decision, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, where it's easy to sit back and say, hey, you should have done this. You know, if you're going to blame him for anything, blame him getting caught up in the WCW nonsense and finding a reason for why someone has to come down from a ceiling of a stadium. That I could blame him for. And you know what? In the end, he paid for it anyway. Owen Hart paid for it. The Hart family paid for it, and the WWE paid for it. All right, let's talk a little Royal Rumble, women's ladies match.
We gotta get moving on to this.
Let's
Getting
open
late.
up with Phil. Phil, talk to me about the women's lady match, and let's just go reverse circle, please.
For the record, I predicted Bailey the other night. Just saying, okay. It was a very lucky guess on my part too. We finally got to see the newest addition to the ladies roster, which I thought was quite incredible. I think Jade Cargill just showed a great strength in that scoop slam and that Samoan or that fireman's carry lift on Nia Jax. Just unbelievable. She got quite the reception. I was kind of surprised she was eliminated, but still, I did say Bailey was going to pull it off. So, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was all right. Again, these are long pay-per-views. You know that these are long. When we were younger, we were watching the shows on USA Network. They're 2 hours, 2 hours 15 minutes, 2 hours 20 minutes.
Yeah.
4 hour shows are really. They're a challenge, but the ladies pulled it off. I thought it got better as it went on. I think it was initially pretty slow, and I think I like the results and all. So, they pulled it off in the end. I would say.
Bruce,
All right.
thoughts?
Yeah,
All right. It was the best of the turns of the night because they were all pretty much turns. But honestly, I was chatting with Joe a little bit during the matches and stuff like this, and the women's match was okay. They had some good spots and stuff like that, but honestly, it was not the best Royal Rumble match I've ever seen. But it served its purpose. It got Bailey over, and let's get on to WrestleMania. Go ahead, Joe.
My thoughts basically, the women. Jordan Grace obviously was the surprise of the 30. There's no doubt about it. I was shocked that Naomi came in at number 2 right off the bat. I thought they would have saved her for maybe mid card, mid 14, 15. But
A strong showing.
Yeah, the ladies did okay. But one of the main things that I noticed on this pay-per-view tonight, the presentation was off. I was talking with Bruce with this during it. We missed a lot of the high moves and all that stuff because they're doing the hard cam and all that stuff. They were off a little bit tonight. Something was wrong with the presentation. I don't know what it was. We got some weird angles on certain stuff. We missed a lot of bumps. And it all started with the ladies round. I mean, there was some good stuff going on there. Ivy Nile had a good bump and they kind of missed that. There's just few little things here and there that kind of threw this whole thing off, and it just carried through the whole pay-per-view. And honestly, I probably could have fallen asleep if I wasn't chatting with Bruce all night. So, yeah, that's my take. I mean, Bailey's going to WrestleMania. It was predicted. It's DraftKings had her at 58% winning. So, no shocker there. I'm shocked. I knew Tiffany Stratton would show up. She did very well towards the end. It was great to see Jade Cargill, that came about, and shocking was Nia Jax getting eliminated by Jade Cargill. That was pretty huge.
yeah.
The one thing that big surprise was how long the your friend from TNA lasted. I was
Jordan
really
Grace.
surprised at that.
Yeah, she's a great wrestler. That interview I had one on my podcast. That was like a day after her beautiful technical match with Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah.
And once I saw that match, I said, I have to get a hold of her and interview her. And she was gracious enough to come on and do some promo for me. But she's been working out. Her body transformation is unbelievable compared to where it was 3 years ago. So It was great to see her. It was great to see her. She lasted pretty long. It wasn't very quick that TNA put out congratulations to her and all that. And I love the cross promotion work.
Yeah,
You know,
Michael Cole. Yeah.
It's too bad they couldn't throw an AEW star in there. You know what I mean? I mean, this is the Rumble. It's a one-off. You know, I think they really should look into that. And you know, that was probably the highlight of the night. Really, everything else was so bland.
I was thinking because I had no idea Jordan Grace was going to be there, but Joe, you had said something, so I said, all right, she's probably showing up.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not, if you're a pure WWE guy, it's like okay, but I will tell you that she definitely's got the look, but the problem is she won't be back, and that's the issue, right? It's like okay, great, she had the look, she looks great. It's funny, Jimmy and I speak all the time about it, is sometimes you just get caught into it. And, the Bailey winning was just a no-brainer. Like, I wasn't even thinking about that on Thursday. It's like, they got to continue that storyline, with Damage Control. Yeah, why would I think anybody else was going to win that but her? So, once my mind was clear today, I realized, okay, Bailey's going to win. I was happy Jade came in. Jade looked great. She still looks scary part of it. She still looks like she's not nearly as refined as the rest of the WWE women. You could see the difference between the AEW women and the WWE women, and you could see the difference with Jade Cargill. She missed, she couldn't lift up Nia Jax. I mean, who could, but why even try that maneuver? Nia Jax was doing her best to help people throw her around. The women's match was real slow. I agree with Phil in the beginning. It picks up momentum, and it ends up being okay. It wasn't like I was like, oh, this is awful. I was just like, it was okay. But again, I'm left wondering, what's the game plan? Are we going to do everything over at Elimination Chamber? Is that going to clean everything up? Because, Bailey goes after, the Heroes title. Okay, whoop-de-doo. So, I mean, that's where I was left with it. Again, why is Natty even still around anymore? It's like, what are you doing with this? When she came out first, it's like, come on, give me a break already. And Naomi, I thought was a huge miss too. It's like you brought her out at number 2, and I'm sorry, if they don't put her in the Bloodline storyline, what are they doing? So why you bring her out as the same character? I don't know. I don't know what to go with this. But I mean, that's my point. Benny?
Yeah, I kind of echo what everybody said. My notes, in fact, Joe messaged me, said Naomi returns. And I was happy to see that she was back, and she lasted, like 61 minutes?
1 hour and 2 seconds. And
59 and a half of it was spent napping in the corner. So, I mean, she didn't really do much after one. She literally laid in the corner for minutes at a time. I was happy to see Jordan Grace. I thought Jade Cargill made a good showing for herself. And I was, Bailey made a good showing. I think that's going to lead to the rest of Damage Control turning on her. But I gave it a C+. It was okay. There was some, some good moments in it, some good athletic moments, but it didn't really excite me whatsoever.
I have to say, between all the matches, that is probably the most time people have spent outside of the ring doing nothing.
Well, that's a great point, Bruce. My wife was watching with me. She goes, why is Bianca just laying there for 12 minutes? I go, because they're allowing everybody to do their other spots. And it was like, all right, guys,
but it continued through the night.
Yes.
Into the next match.
Yeah.
Why the next match that should have been the highlight match of the night sucked.
Yep. And the thing about the Rumble, too, I don't know why the camera angles were showing. It looked like a car wreck. Everybody was laying around and they were showing it. Yeah, they could have panned away from all that. You know what I mean, Mike?
Right.
So, I mean, to me, I like I said, I think the presentation was off tonight. And I got the press conference for WWE on Triple H took the podium. He said they put on an amazing show and it was an amazing night. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, the feedback on this is going to be horrendous. I know it is.
Well, again, what are you supposed to do? You have no
It'll be-
choice but to make that.
Oh yeah. So,
It'll be twisted positive. You'll only hear positive.
and I did see that when Cody Rhodes was at the podium, somebody did ask him about the backstage incident with Tony Khan and something like that. So I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. But I have this thing on closed caption, so I'm kind of reading the words. But
All right, so we had the second match, which I
Yep.
believe was the 4-way with Roman Reigns. You want to open up with that, player?
Yeah, I mean, very predictable. It didn't really do anything for me. Same thing. You got, you have people laying around for minutes at a time because other people are getting their shit in, and it just I knew that pretty much I pretty much knew that Roman Reigns was going to win. I knew that Randy Orton definitely was not going to win. I knew that AJ Styles definitely was not going to win. I thought maybe LA Knight had a small chance, but I don't know. It didn't do anything for me at all. Another
How about you,
C+.
Phil?
He's up.
Bill's up.
Oh, I'm
Phil.
oh sorry. Yeah.
You
You know,
dozing off,
yeah.
Phil? Are you dozing off? You've fallen asleep.
Phil
already?
was playing with his ponytail. He was getting ready to go.
Phil was watching the replay of the Rumble.
Because I fell asleep the first time through. Yes, I was playing catch up now. The triple cover spot and kick out, kind of unique, kind of different. Wasn't quite sure what they were going for there. I wasn't quite sure if that was like legal in the match, But yeah, I Solo Sikoa, he'd make an appearance. In fact, I thought that was going to be it. I thought it was going to actually be a quick match, and then he of course goes through the barrier, and AJ comes up, and so I had a few doubts, but I really couldn't foresee a situation where Roman was going to lose this early. And I'm surprised that I somehow thought that The Rock might interject himself at some point, at least make an announcement or something after the match. So
Right.
kind of surprised. I was almost expecting something from The Rock, or maybe a vignette or something, maybe a promo, something about this, but they kind of disappointed on that too. So yeah, I'm happy that he won. It was a little predictable, but and a fairly decent match all around, all things considered. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna
Bruce,
have
what do
to
you think,
agree.
buddy?
I'm gonna have to agree. It was the match of the night.
Man, Bruce, you got a lot with you tonight, man. You got a lot
Yeah,
of
no
commentary about the match.
Come on, that was absolutely horrible. Come on, but overall, it was the one that actually fulfilled somewhat of the expectations. I mean, it was a good match, but overall, what did it accomplished nothing. The whole night accomplished nothing.
Yeah.
The Royal Rumble is supposed to move storylines forward.
Road to WrestleMania.
I'm sitting back and I'm like, what the hell was that? So,
If I had $1 for every time they look or point to that sign, man, I'd be all set.
Yeah,
They did that a little too much, don't you think?
Yeah, that was definitely overused. My take on the match was anticlimactic at best. And again, why was it number 2 on the night? I mean, that should have been moved up before the men's Rumble. Phil, in relation to the bodies, the triple pin there was a thing out there. Roman Reigns says he's going to be stacking bodies. That was the gist of all that. But I don't think even Roman participated in it until he got back in the ring. But the whole thing was anticlimactic. I'm sick and tired of everybody doing their finishing move, and then there's the 1, 2, 3, someone kicks out or whatever. It's just really depleting their moves as well. Again, to see AJ Styles, I think he's the one that took the pin from Roman Reigns. It was just like, oh, it's over. Like it was like I literally was washing dishes during some of these moments, and it was like, come on. I could have just listened to it. I didn't need to see it because I knew it was going to happen. And by the way, everybody, they tried to break the table 4 times. Everybody tried to put each other through the table, and it didn't work. But then when Kevin Owens threw Logan Paul on it, that thing just felt like it was nothing. So I don't know.
But don't forget that second match was sponsored by Slim Jim.
Yes, and I don't understand. Yeah, and like you said, the product placement tonight was so relevant If I
And
saw
don't
the
forget
cricket
to get your
sign,
cricket 5.
the cricket sign was everywhere. I mean, like we said, Bruce. I think next up is wrestlers are going to be putting ads on their trunks and all that stuff. It was blah to me. There was no like build up, and now that storyline's gone. And like you said, this is the road to WrestleMania. This is supposed to be the we're days away technically, a month and a
70
half.
days, yeah.
Yeah. So now what? What's the storylines like? And now I think they're going to Australia now for the next
Yes.
pay-per-view.
Next month.
So like, okay,
Elimination
and then they
Chamber.
have Saudi Arabia in February.
And Perth,
I
yeah.
just don't get it. I just,
Well,
if this is
so-
the new WWE,
So
I
all right,
don't
so
know.
I don't want us to think that it wasn't the best pay-per-view. Don't forget we've had nothing but great stuff going for
Yeah.
quite a while.
the big
Sometimes you are going to shit the bed a little bit, and and,
No
and
pun
I got to tell
intended.
you, right, exactly.
Been enough shitting this week.
I thought the Roman Reigns match was fine. Roman Reigns always performs. Now everybody knows I'm a fan of his, so I get it. But I thought it was fine. It had everything that you expected into it. And I got to disagree with you on something, Joe. It's like they weren't kicking out of the finishers. It was a 4-way, so people kept interfering on the count.
That's what I meant.
So it wasn't like an AEW, hey, I give you my finisher, I'm kicking out every time.
Right.
It was like someone was stopping it. Was it the greatest? Look, I'm not a big fan of the 4-way, the 3-way. I never have been.
Yeah.
So I think you had to place it there.
As long
right?
as it's two
Because-
girls and a guy, 3-ways are great.
Yeah, well, there you go. Good time to talk about that too, right?
Yeah,
But-
really.
I think that was you had to place that match there, right? Because then you had to cool down, because your cool down match was Owens and
Logan
Paul, and
Yeah.
that's not really a cool down match. It was a loaded card that ended up just flat. So of all the matches, that one to me didn't let me down. Like if the rest of the card was great, I would have said that was fine.
Right.
I'm gonna reiterate this though, and I will get to that last match. But if The Rock shows up at the end of the Royal Rumble at number 30, this is the greatest Rumble of all time.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter anything that happened. We're talking right now, like, oh my God.
That's like
And
Survivor
meanwhile-
Series. It's like Survivor Series when they're about to go off the air and CM Punk shows up, and that just totally took off everything else from the Survivor Series meant nothing. And CM Punk came back. So yeah,
Everybody knows Vince McMahon's famous saying is no one cares about the beginning or the middle. They only care about the end.
Yep.
And now I got to tell you, with Cody Rhodes pointing to that WrestleMania sign, I guarantee every fan out there is like, I don't want this dude finishing the story.
right.
This is a mistake.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Logan Paul Kevin Owens match. You want to start that one off, Bruce?
All right. Overall, actually, for a Logan Paul match, I would have to say it was the most disappointing. But they got through their spots. They did okay. It was overall a decent match. I think it was a little thrown together towards the end because they were just trying to find that right match to fill in the Royal Rumble. But it satisfied its need, but being the participants involved, I think they could have put on a better show.
Yeah, definitely.
How about you, Phil?
The only thing I remember is Logan Paul threw a nice nice flying body press. He really hit a nice one, and nothing memorable, really. Not at all. I mean, part of me as a wrestling fan wants to be sort of against these newcomers, these people who come right in and just jump and take a top spot, but I don't feel that way with Logan Paul, really. He's a talented guy, but it did nothing for me. It did nothing for me. And Kevin Owens, I mean, he's good and all, but still, I don't know, kind of flat.
How about Joe? What did you think?
I thought the match was okay, but I have a feeling that the finish was they had to do a quick finish. For some reason, they were cruising right along, and then I think the referee went over to Owens. They said something. I want to say they said you got to wrap it up. So I think timing was an issue with this match. We know Kevin Owens can perform. We know Logan Paul can perform. Do I think it was their best performance? No, I don't think it was their best performance, but I also think that they did with what they had. I think there was that contagious mentality with this whole thing tonight where everybody just downplayed each match, and it could have been better, but it wasn't. And I'm not talking about like surprises and all that stuff. They're athletes. Logan Paul took some good bumps. His chest was ripped up. He had a bloody nose.
Yeah.
He took a beating, but I think the match was abruptly ended. And I think, that's probably what, again, anticlimactic, a disqualification now. So obviously they're going to take this to WrestleMania or, the next premium live event. So, but to reiterate, going back to the Fatal 4-Way, finally, Michael Cole did mention Bob Backlund.
Yes.
I meant to say that. Yes,
Yes,
thank
yes.
God.
He finally mentioned Bob Backlund, and I was like, oh, they finally mentioned it. Because when he went Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, I go, that bastard better say Michael Cole.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he said Bob Backlund. So,
Well, I think they were testing the waters with that. I thought that
Yeah.
if they just didn't mention Backlund, everybody would forget. And the newer fan did forget, right? They were already taught, all the memes out there, give credit to us older guys. We still held Backlund, we still kept fighting. And so maybe in our alternative universe they listened, which they
Maybe
didn't.
they heard us. Yeah.
I want to act like they did, but they didn't. But what the hell?
yeah.
What about you, playa?
Yeah. First of all, what was the attendance? They announced like 48,000 and 45.
Yeah, it went from 40,000.
I thought it was 44.
44. It was 48.
44,000.
I heard 48,000 towards
I thought you said 48,045, but I got to tell you something. Whether it was 44 or 48, that was the quietest 40-something thousand crowd I ever heard or didn't hear. But I mean, Logan Paul is still learning the game. I think he's, for his experience level, he's very talented, has a lot of potential. I love Kevin Owens. I think he's a great old school guy, but another C+. The one thing I did like, though, I actually liked the DQ ending because, back in the day, if you look at any card from the Garden in the early 80s, or, even the 60s or the 70s, you're always going to have at least one or two DQs. You're going to have a count out and you're going to have a draw, something that you rarely see these days. So the DQ part I actually liked, but the match was all right. Didn't really do much for me either.
And the brass knuckles too. I did like the brass knuckles.
I'm going to second that. I like the DQ. I like the ending with the brass knuckles. I like the ref seeing he had the brass knuckles. That was that, finally we're getting a little of that. I was thinking, though, because as I was just looking at this, staring at the screen like a zombie, I was thinking to myself, I'm going to go on with these guys. And, a lot of them enjoy the older school stuff. And I was thinking, if Bruno Sammartino was wrestling in front of 44,000 people, do you think they would be off the hook watching this guy stomping and punching? And I said, nah, I don't think so. I guess time changes and you get older and you don't want it to change for you, but it changes. And these are the guys that, like Don Morocco, Bob Backlund could not carry 44,000 people in a 1 hour Broadway back in the day, which I used to love. People would talk about a quiet crowd. That's the way it would have been. You know what I'm saying? We got Jimmy Farrell's joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
Jimmy Farrell's coming in here. Hey, real quickly, Triple H did address, somebody did ask him about the events of the last couple of days with Vince McMahon, and his response was, we just had a great pay-per-view, 48,000 people. Let's focus on the positive and move on to that. So I'm actually shocked that they allowed one of these reporters to say that.
Joe, we were talking about that earlier. I was saying there's no way they're going to let anyone say anything.
So he's focusing on the positive. He kind of went right over it and said it's been a positive week and, with everything else. So I think right now they're just skimming over this. So, and he's on to another question now. So,
So Jimmy, we haven't hit the last match yet. You want to give you a quick recap of the first three matches?
First of all, what's up, fellas? How's everybody doing?
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy, nice to meet you, brother. Nice to meet you.
What a day.
What a day. What a day. That's right.
I had to. I had to. By the way, Joe, I was pretty surprised when I saw you joining the channel because I've actually watched some of your stuff in the past. I'm like, wait a minute, I know that
Oh,
guy.
really? Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Jimmy,
Yeah, you got it. Go
Jimmy,
ahead, Mike.
did you know that Missy Beefcake went to high school with Joe?
You know, I heard about that. I
Quincy
heard
High.
about that. I heard about that, and I've asked Karen to make Joe a special belt for the occasion.
Melissa De Gloria Caruso. That's her real name. So,
Oh, boy.
Now that I know that, what do I do with that? Hey,
I don't know.
Anyway,
it's out
anyway,
there. It's out
Right.
there. Play with it. I don't
It is
care.
out there for sure. It's out there now. All right. Well, first of all, I don't mean to go on the offensive here, but can we calm down with and Joe, this is for you. Can we
Okay.
calm down with calling this the worst Rumble ever? Please, let's take a breath. Hold on a moment, okay? And Bruce, this is for you. Storylines weren't advanced. Bruce. Okay, let me get my reasons in why this wasn't the worst Rumble ever. I agree with what Mike said earlier. If The Rock shows up tonight, none of us are talking like this.
Right,
I was
exactly.
so pissed. We'll get to that, when we get to that. But that was the reason why I think a lot of us are feeling the way we're feeling right now, okay? I don't think this was the worst Rumble event ever by a long shot. I thought most of it was serviceable, okay? I use that word a lot, but unfortunately, that's the world we seem to be living in nowadays.
Right.
All right? Women's Rumble, fine. I thought it was fine. It made sense to me that Bailey won. This is example one, Bruce, of where storylines are advanced because when she decides to point at Io Sky and say, hey, guess what? It's going to be you jerk. So at least that's what I think should happen. And I think that this was what the people wanted. The crowd wasn't super dead. Cut that out. Okay, they were not super dead. I know that we're pissed off right now, and we've got the shadow of the most expensive mistress in the history of the WWE hanging over us. But that doesn't kill a pay-per-view for me. I'm a wrestling fan. I don't care what Lucy did. I don't give a crap. And Mike is right. Vince is going to die, and then at the end of the day, people are going to go, you know what? Well, he was a legend. Blah 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 blah. and she's making her magnetized money off her future book and everything else. Look, and you know what? Pooping on your head and you go back to work. I think I'll go back to work because it smells so good. What the hell is going on here?
I'll respond to that really quickly. Would you have
Yeah.
been happy if you had to have paid the $70 to $80 for that pay-per-view that you would have had to pay a few years ago?
We're not doing that a few years ago.
We
I'm living
didn't.
I'm living
That's
in it now. And I got
hypothetical.
it on Peacock dirt cheap.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
not,
exactly. $9.99 a month. It's a hypothetical question. It's
Yeah,
like,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
I
I-
understand,
I-
I understand, Bruce.
Put,
You know,
that,
if you don't,
put this
look, if
Royal
you didn't-
Rumble against one from that you actually had to pay for.
okay, I will. I'm going to pull one. What did I actually have to pay for? Let's see. Let's just go through the annals in my mind.
Bruce, you probably bought Heroes of Wrestling and you're complaining.
Arrows of Wrestling.
That's right. Heroes of Wrestling. I bought that on
Well,
Sports
there you
Channel,
go.
and
Well,
And-
there you go.
and I was
you know?
angry. Yes.
All right, I'll tell you what. If I had dropped, let's say $39.95 on this, like back in the day or something, I'm not pissed. I was just pissed that The
Well,
Rock didn't show up.
Okay, but if
I
it
mean-
was super premium, like $80, like the last few WrestleManias before they went to the
Mike,
premium live event.
Mike, you've known me a long time. When do you think I would have ever paid $80 for any wrestling event?
I don't, again, I don't,
Ever.
again, you go to a Tyson fight and he knocks out someone in 2 seconds. So you
Uh-huh.
crying the blues?
Hell no.
It is.
Absolutely,
Listen,
absolutely
I'm-
not.
You wanted to see?
Was it good? No. Should
No.
I watch Planet of the Apes on Stars because they had every Planet of the Apes, every one after the other? Yes,
Right.
I would have rather watched Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Absolutely.
I
But
would have been into
it's-
Uncle Floyd reruns.
I think the overall thing, I'm not going to say it's the worst Royal Rumble. I just think it was I don't know, it wasn't engaging enough. You know, it was
Okay.
great. I love that Liv Morgan showed up. Some names that I threw out there, I thought Carmella or Alexa Bliss would have came back, Sonya Deville, Trish Stratus, and I was hoping to see Nikita Lyons show up. You know,
Okay.
they said NXT was going to fill it, but we didn't get that. And it was like, oh, you know, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Right.
and here comes Zoe Stark.
Well,
okay,
let me
we knew it was
right.
gonna be in the
let me
Rumble,
ask you.
so-
Hold on, I got to ask this question. Player, obviously you weren't happy with this. What
Yeah.
would have made it a good Rumble for you?
I'm glad you asked me first because you said something, and when you said it, it's like holy shit, he's right. Because right up to that, 30th guy in the Royal Rumble, I said, if this is The Rock, I'm good. So, I
Right.
mean, if that was
Right.
The Rock, we're having an entire different discussion.
Yes, we
Because
are.
All
yeah.
we're saying is, holy fucking shit, The Rock
Yep.
showed up. And
Yep.
everything, all the suckage that happened before that, it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you this. Benny, I want you to say your piece, but here was the one thing that really bothered me. Everybody loved Monday night between Phil Brooks and Cody Rhodes, except me. I didn't. I thought it was a very uninspired one-on-one with maybe one shot that might have went like, "Ooh, that's a little funny," right? Pharaoh said he loved it, right? Which is cool, right? I'm just telling you from my point of view.
Mhm.
But tonight reflected that one-on-one to me. It's like,
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes throws Phil Brooks out. It's over. Point to the
Right.
WrestleMania. Nothing. Like what? Nothing exciting. No anger between the two.
Right.
Right.
And it's like, it's just like, oh, don't worry, Phil. You're going to your main event because you're going to Elimination Chamber. You're going to win that.
Right.
And then
Right,
you're
right.
going to take on Seth
Right.
Rollins, right?
Most
Oh,
likely.
all
Yeah,
is
most
well
likely,
in the
yep.
world.
All
All right, go
can I
back,
say
play.
something?
I'm sorry.
I'll tell you, I got to
Play.
get this in though. I got to get this in quick. When he said, "I did not come here to lose to
Lose to
Dusty's
Dusty's
kid," I
kid.
turned to Karen. I said, "He's
He's
losing.
losing.
He's losing."
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I pretty much said everything I had to say. It's like that could have been the redemption, and we would have had an entirely different conversation because I would have,
Right.
I would have been happy. But I do have a question for Jimmy though, because
Okay.
Jimmy Farrow has his finger on the pulse of
The
all
pulse.
things wrestling.
The pulse.
So
I got my
want
finger
him-
on some. Wait, I got
He's
my
got-
finger on
yeah, he's-
something. I don't know about the
He's got it
pulse.
on a pulse, or he's got it somewhere else, or
Yeah,
whatever.
this is
But-
true. Pocket pool, anybody?
There you go.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
But
What do you got?
I heard a rumor that Vince McMahon was possibly going to be represented by Chubby Tortello, and I wanted to know if you could confirm or deny that.
Wow.
I can't say anything about that.
No,
Mike took that
Chubby
guy into a back alley, and we haven't seen him since. Mike, what'd you do with Chubby?
We put him with Marty Jannetty's friend from the bowling alley.
That's what I
now
heard.
they're in the same hole.
Man, oh Jesus. Oh
Chubby in a hole.
God. Oh,
That's what I
God.
heard.
Wow.
That's what I heard. He
So-
sleeps with the pin. He sleeps with the bowling pins now.
Yeah.
So
The wood.
my point on the last match, and then you guys all weigh in, was this. I at one point, all the major players are in the ring, and I'm
Right.
like, this is exactly the problem. Where do they go from here?
Right.
It's
yeah.
like everyone has a story and there's no ending, and where do you go? And the only way to have fixed that was at number 30. Do you smell?
Yeah.
Right? But
Yep.
instead, we didn't get it. And it's like, did The Rock just come that one day just to screw with everybody? Are we not going down this road? I'm sorry. As a wrestling fan, I don't want to see Cody Rhodes against Roman Reigns.
No.
I do not want to see
We've
this.
already
I-
seen it. We've already seen it.
And again, it's like, if proof is in the pudding, to me, the only really good match, and I Bruce didn't agree, and some of you guys didn't, but the Roman Reigns match was the best match of the night. So I mean, you eliminate this guy out of your formula. What are you doing now? You're gonna have
Right.
Cody Rhodes. I mean, you got CM Punk, who's hotter than hell. And I'm sorry, Stardust has cooled him off quicker than
Yeah.
anything in less than a month.
Mm.
I like CM Punk is nobody now to me. It's like, phew, that's it. That ending was just atrocious. Like they needed to do something different. And what did they do? What the Gunther thing? Why did Gunther come out against Seth? Was that because
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
I think the WWE had the biggest problem. I mentioned this the other night on Wrestling Remembered. The biggest problem the WWE had going to the Rumble was they had so many creative avenues to go down where they could have put on a blockbuster event tonight with or without The Rock. But like you said, you put these guys all in the ring at once. Yeah, where do they go from here? Now you hypothetically or whatever, you put all your eggs in one basket. Nobody knows what to do with it now. I think they dropped the ball creatively now that I'm thinking about it tonight, because Cody Rhodes winning the Rumble, finishing his story, like I said, he's not going to finish the story and for another 40 years. I think something's going to derail him. And what now Punk can do is turn back into the real CM Punk that we all know.
Well, by the way,
turn heel and take out.
By the way, I just want to say, and this is probably the closest thing. B40 just said The Rock at WrestleMania is going to cost Roman the title against Cody. And you know what? That sounds like it could legitimately happen. If that happens,
you mean like a Rock, what, like a Rock appearance? Like a Rock
appearance? And you know what? That could definitely happen. Do I want to see that? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
That is just terrible. Terrible. Setting up The Rock for Roman at WrestleMania 41. Who cares? You know what, Joe? You just said it. They had a million avenues to go down to. They could have went straight, left to right. Instead, they went backwards, flipped the car, and fell off the cliff.
I think Vince McMahon used to say that you always leave the fans going home happy. And do we have the Vince effect here tonight? Was this Vince thing hovering over a Tropicana field, and it just did not produce? I didn't jump out of my seat at the end of the night or during
Jimmy Farrow. Jimmy, you're a huge CM Punk fan and a huge Cody Rhodes fan. Did you go home happy tonight?
I was miserable, and I still am. Okay, I'm being honest. I felt like it was a serviceable card, but here's, it's funny. I was talking with Phil earlier.
Card. I've never heard of
serviceable. And let me get to what I mean. Well, let me get to what I mean by that. I was talking to Phil earlier today about the Steinbrenner family, and the owner of the Yankees currently, of course, is Hal, who is George's son. And what I saw tonight, and Mike, I think you'll find this to be true. What I saw tonight was safe. And that's the way the Yankees run themselves nowadays. Think about it. Safe. Cody finishing the story is safe. That's what happened last year. He should have won last year. He's going to win this year. That's very safe, okay? Punk putting over Cody is safe. It really is. And now Punk can go after Rollins, which in internet sexiness is safe.
Yeah.
Everything happening right now, it's almost like don't think about Vince McMahon. Don't, because Vince would have taken this, and you definitely would have seen The Rock. Don't tell me Vince McMahon would not have The Rock.
Even if you didn't see The Rock, you would have seen people come out in different order, and you would have had people pop.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, having those last 5 contestants come out sucked. Why would you have Sami Zayn, Mr. Fizzle, come out at number 30? What was anybody thinking on that?
That would only work in Montreal if they had the pay-per-view up there. That would only work up in Canada. And I did hear the section starting to sing. I did hear a little bit of that.
How safe though is this move really? Because you got. I'll say it again. Cody Rhodes couldn't carry AEW. What makes you think he has any chance of carrying it? I know he's a new character.
He's going to get it real to carry
it. But wouldn't you rather see Cody Rhodes come out at number 30 than Sami Zayn?
Right. Well, here's the first.
That would be too expected, though, because Cody Rhodes is in the Rumble. You put him at number 30, he's number 30. Then there's no pop. There's no, oh my God.
Well, there was no pop anyway because you had Sami Zayn coming out.
Yep. No, I hear you.
Well, one of the sponsors was crickets anyway, so I mean, crickets.
I would have liked to see Ty Dillinger coming out at number 10 again.
That's what it was.
Here lies. Oh, and by the way, putting McAfee in there. What was even the point of that? Why did you even do that? It was like
Mike, that was the Brock Lesnar replacement.
I think you're right.
Very well. Very well could be.
But here's my point to that. If Cody Rhodes wins, that's a safe move. You're putting this company's growth at jeopardy right now. And the proof of that is once The Rock showed up and said he's the head of the table, Cody Rhodes was a forgotten man. That's not what everybody wants. It's not what everybody wants to see. Right. And now I'm going to tell you, there's going to be people do not want to see Cody Romans at WrestleMania 40. They don't want to see it.
He's going to get derailed before WrestleMania. Something's going to happen. I think the CM Punk turn is going to happen, and that's what's going to make it. Has to be. I still see The Rock and Reigns at WrestleMania. Somehow that's going to happen. It's probably going to happen over in Australia or something, or where they going next. February they have
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, And that's like the crown jewel. That's like their WrestleMania. So they're going to put on that extravaganza. The Rock might show up there and start trouble. Who knows? But I was inches away from my prediction coming true. I predicted a Cody Rhodes CM Punk duel finish tonight. And
That's right. Yeah.
we got pretty damn close to that. And I was like, oh my God, if this really happens, that would have been a better storyline. They both won the Rumble. Because I think Pat McAfee said it during the women's Rumble. Has there ever been 2 winners? And I'm like, oh, they're already talking about it. So I was getting kind of excited about it, but
They had
Didn't
more
happen.
options with that.
didn't happen.
Player Mike White is saying, if you guys have money to pitch and buy a wrestling company, you first hire one man and then Steiner. Who's the one man you're hiring?
Wait, say that again?
If you guys have money to pitch in and buy a wrestling company, you first got to hire one man and then Steiner. So I guess he's saying Scott. I think he means Scott Steiner, right? But who are you leading your company with?
As far as a wrestler, or as far as like a mind, like a creative
A
mind?
wrestler. I guess this is in the. Did we put you to sleep, Benny, or did you lose? Did you?
Will you
No,
wake up, for God's sakes? Get out of the bunker. What's going on? I think
Get out of the foxhole.
Benny's a witness protection. He's reading that Whitey Bulger book too much. What's going on there?
Benny
No,
might be,
it's just-
Benny might be
I'm
getting
reading the
dirt.
question. It says, if you guys have money to pitch in and buy a wrestling company, you first got to hire one man
One
and then
man.
Steiner. That doesn't really make sense, though. I mean, am I missing something?
Fucking
I
Mick
think he needs a
Mantle.
wrestler. I guess it
Mantle.
has to go in. Oh, he's talking about a guy. So you are right, Benny. I should get in the bunker. It's my fault. He's talking about Russo.
By Vince Russo?
Yeah, he thinks Vince Russo.
Oh
What,
God,
Yeah.
No.
no. And
No,
are
I
you
know.
out of your mind? You know what really worries me, guys, and not to throw another Yankee parallel, but I'm afraid that now that Vince is gone, it's bean counting time. They're gonna, with all our complaining, WrestleMania is gonna sell out. That's what Hal Steinbrenner looks at. Do the Yankees still sell tickets?
Yeah.
Did they make the
Yeah.
playoffs?
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. And I'm afraid that ingenious drive to always be the best is not going to be there. I'm concerned with that.
Well, you know,
Okay,
I agree with Jimmy because
steel
like,
cage match is coming.
George
player.
Steinbrenner and his son are two different people. George Steinbrenner actually wanted to win. I mean, he knew he was going to make his money, but he had
Yes.
pride. He wanted to win. Hal Steinbrenner, he doesn't give a
Mhm.
shit. He
Yep.
all he cares about is the bottom line. If they make they win 93 games. They squeeze in the playoffs. They lose.
All
in
right,
the-
wait a minute. You know what? Again, I'm going to get crazy here because me
Do
and
it.
Jimmy were talking about this about the
Do it.
Jets.
Oh, you had to.
What
Go
can
ahead.
an owner do but spend their money, and they're hiring people to run your organization? Hal Steinbrenner gave Aaron Judge the entire planet. Here you go. If that's going to let us win the World Series, what do you got? What does this guy, what else can he do? What can the Jets owner do? He's paid everybody $1 million. He brings in a quarterback
Okay.
from Green Bay.
So
I'm sorry.
here's the challenge. Here's the challenge I got with that. You look at it, you say that, but then you look at a team like the Boston Celtics that reinvent themselves over and over again. I'm a New York fan at heart, but I looked at what Danny Ainge did with the Celtics in no time, and I've been waiting for the Knicks to do that
Bruce,
for the last 20 years.
Bruce, is the Boston Celtics owner the reason? No, he hires a
it's the
general
manager.
manager.
He
The
hires
general
great
manager.
management.
Okay. So again, if you want to blame Hal Steinbrenner and Woody because they just don't know who to hire because they're that dumb, that's
Right.
the argument you make. But
Right.
you can't make the argument they don't care. I mean,
Right.
if you didn't care, you just wouldn't spend
it's
any
not.
money.
It's not a. Yeah, it's not a matter of not
Perfect.
caring.
You care
Perfect
the most
example.
about your bottom line if you own a business. I mean, that's
Perfect example right now is the New England Patriots. I mean, Bob Kraft's an owner that wants to win and all that stuff. So he's having trouble. He got a head coach now, but they're looking for defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators. And they said they have money. They have over $65 million under the cap. So they're burning some money this year. It just depends on who they're going to get.
Yeah.
Again, I really think this conversation is really good because I didn't think about it this way.
Yeah.
I think you guys are right. They're now bean counting and they're
Yeah.
going safe. It's like
Yep.
Cody's
I'm
safe.
worried.
This is safe. This is
I'm worried.
safe. I'm not
I'm
going to
worried.
mess around with this. And,
Right.
and
Who
you
can
know
we
what? Why
brand?
not?
Who can we
And-
brand? Who can we brand?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Who we brand right? Yeah.
wait a minute. You don't think that there's not a hangover from the Vince McMahon thing. Don't think
Oh.
people aren't scared. I mean, look, we talk about this all the time. You're in a world now that if you say the wrong thing,
Mhm.
you're in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, forget about
Yeah.
shitting on someone's head and
See, that's
and
all we're talking
leaving-
about in the lawsuit is the defecating. I mean, who
you
gives
know,
a shit, right?
or right, or
Vince
whatever.
does.
Well, we know
Does
who
give a
gave a
shit.
shit, or at least allegedly gave a shit.
Hey, look, Vince
Unbelievable.
McMahon. I personally, Jimmy knows this.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon's my hero. I
He
don't
is.
care. He can
I
do
know, I
whatever he
know.
wants. I will
I
fight
know.
for him, and no matter what, he is my hero.
Yep. I mean, I know this is going to sound warped, and Mike, you know this too. I'm not going to change my opinion on Vince because here's the bottom line. I don't look at Vince McMahon, the person. Okay, maybe that sounds inhuman. I don't care what Vince is like.
Yeah.
Am I weird? Yeah, but I don't care what Vince is like. All I know is what Vince has done when I turn on the television and I want to watch his product. I love his product. I love about 80% of the decisions he's made over the years. Have I ever been mad at him? Oh, hell yeah. I've been mad at him, but only because of his professional decisions. I really don't, and I don't take much stock in chicks who hang around for years and then agree to take $1 million to be quiet. And then, oh, you didn't give me $3 million. Oh, greed is everywhere. Give me a break already. Now she's the barometer for what's right and what's not. I don't know her any more than I know Vince.
Yeah, but
what
this
a
stuff
waste
could, this
of
stuff could this stuff could literally stop. Is if you lose the case, you got to pay back every penny that you've spent of
that's
us
what
taxpayers.
should happen.
Also, people will be like, "Hey, Benny, let me ask you this: Would the Royal Rumble would you have been very happy with it at the end? Right at the end, they play that Missy Beefcake video. Would that have?
Wait, only if it was the one with both of you guys dancing.
Oh,
American.
what a moment in time
That was the best video
No,
ever. I mean,
it's
that was
funny. I
great.
mean, did you guys see the tweet by Ronda Rousey today
No,
about saying that I got it right
Yeah.
here, talking about right here, Bruce Pritchard is
Yeah.
basically Vince's avatar. If he's still around, Vince still has a hand in running the business. Vince was still running things through Bruce when he was, supposedly gone before. So, that could be another factor. If Bruce Pritchard is still around,
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
but wait a minute.
Well,
Look,
I don't think
What's
Bruce
wrong,
Pritchard was
Rhonda?
even at
It's-
the propaganda field tonight. So,
what? Rhonda's angry now. What do you got to be angry about, Rhonda?
Really?
You failed miserably.
Really?
You blew it. You blew
Right.
it. You
Yeah.
blew it. Come on.
Yep.
You know,
sour milk, anybody? Because I
they,
smell it.
they
Come
gave her
on.
everything. They gave her everything, and
Yep.
it's
to further that thought, they're worried that they're going to get rid of all the people that Vince kind of favored and brought in, either associated with them or talent that he really liked and tried to push. And
Mm.
I'm thinking of R-Truth, who was really, I think, a star of tonight, or just kind of an understated
yeah.
star.
Right.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed R-Truth tonight.
he's
The
gold.
humor, trying to interfere in the ladies,
Yep.
in the divas, and then his efforts in ring with Dominic, stopping him from being eliminated, and just
am I out of line here though with this? I'll ask you guys because it's probably just me.
Yeah.
But it's like wrestling was getting so good and it was pretty serious. And
Right.
when R-Truth came back, I was like, ugh. Like, all of a sudden the Judgment Day is a joke. All of a sudden this is a joke. And it
Right.
was like, I don't want to go back to
I love
this.
that.
A lot of people do. I didn't like
In the right quantities, Mike, in the right quantities with the right players, it's good. I think he is good. He's believable. He does. You could believe he has a screw loose.
I enjoyed him coming out during the women's thing. I thought that was funny.
That was great.
You know what I mean?
What about
Yep.
what about
And
when he thought it was a tag team match in the men's one?
I love that exactly.
I don't know.
Stupid.
Did you guys see the pre-show? Robert
That was awesome.
during the
It's
pre-show.
hilarious.
I forget who it was. Roberts or somebody was walking around during the pre-show, and
He
they
was in a
found
baseball cage.
our truth in the batting cage, and he had baseballs in his hand. And he was like trying to change the number that he got the night before. He was trying to- and he was trying to tell him it was a baseball. I mean, this is gold stuff
I
right
love
here.
I
I
love
mean,
dumb humor.
If,
Dumb
if, there-
humor's the
if
best.
there's anything to watch on Raw, it's like you got to watch our truth go around.
And it's the right people, and he's the best at it. He really
Yeah.
is.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to do, acting like that. So he
He
pulls it
convinces
off.
me.
he pulls it off.
Can I actually say this? I would rather see Nick Aldis get in a feud with Roman Reigns and wrestle him at WrestleMania than Cody Rhodes at this point.
That's
Mm.
absolutely.
It's like I am so anti Cody Rhodes now. He had won me over, Jimmy, when he fought in the steel cage with the torn pec. I was like, he
Yeah.
won me over. Now he's
Yeah.
lost me again.
That's
It's
another
like-
Mike. That you just
Interesting.
brought that up. That's another thing that was missing tonight. Nick Aldis. You saw Adam Pearce real quick to escort our truth back, but you didn't see Nick Aldis or Ava Raine because NXT was there as well. There were no
Please.
backstage things going on in between stuff. That's what was missing tonight.
And by the way, I'm sorry. I'm glad that she's the Rock's daughter, and they're trying to
Oh.
make sure that they keep the Rock happy.
Yeah.
But get the girl some acting lessons. She was challenging Hogan on SmackDown. It was like
She
with the
did not
clipboard,
inherit-
I'm like, this is just awful.
I think they're
Awful.
She
throwing.
didn't
I think
inherit
they're
Daddy's
throwing-
charisma.
Yeah, they're throwing her into the fire, and she's going to learn. Like she's going to learn on TV. That's what's going to happen. They're going to make
Oh,
her. You know,
great.
it's sad, but it is what it is. So what happens
Yeah.
to Shawn Michaels now? Is he not the general
She's
manager?
got
of NXT?
that
Like,
bodied and face
what-
to be behind the scenes.
yeah, I mean, it's like
Bruce,
Okay.
you are always so negative. Is there any good looking women in wrestling?
we
There's
gotta
lots of them.
we gotta get that whop 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 like every time Bruce talks,
Come on,
play
Ava
that.
Raine. Can you tell me what positive things she brings right now?
Who?
Hey, by the
The
way,
only one-
RJ Hudson says he'd like to see Roman against Aldis. I'll go with
I'd
that.
love to see that.
Oh, Aldis will definitely get in the ring.
The only reason she is getting promoted right now is she is the Rock's daughter. She's not good on the mic. She's not good in the ring.
Right.
She has absolutely no business being on NXT at this point.
Right.
She should
Right.
be behind the
Well,
scenes.
The timing
Period.
is suspect too. Rock's named to the board of directors, and that night on NXT, she's the general manager. The timing couldn't have been any worse to do
Right.
that. If you
Yeah.
put Ava Raine as GM a couple of weeks ago, we'd be like, "Oh, that's cool, whatever." You know, she's gonna learn, blah blah blah. But doing it the same day that the Rock, her father, and all the news comes out with Netflix. I mean, you talk about a news dump that day. That was just like boom. I mean, we've been through a lot the last 48, 72 hours with everything that's going on here. So our heads are spinning going into the Rumble. And then, of course, we're all like, you know, whap, whap,
By the way,
like, what happened?
it's just been
What
reported that Janelle Grant has been named to the board of directors for TKO.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she was all elite.
Hey, how about-
That's funny, Benny.
How about something positive, okay? Braun Breaker ruled tonight. Anybody? Come on,
Right.
help me out here.
No,
And
that's-
Yeah.
anybody, come on. What about
Mike,
Braun?
listen,
Like, that's
while we're on
cool.
While we're on the subject, can you post her OnlyFans site up? Because I know
Oh,
she's got one.
Who's that?
Who,
Janelle
Janelle
Oh,
Grant?
man.
You think so? You think? I mean, according to all those text messages we read, she supposedly was like had a fine body and all that stuff. So I have no idea. You know,
Yeah,
Wait
so
a
she's
minute.
gotta be
Wait a
explaining
minute.
it
Wait
now.
a minute. Wait a minute. They just have a special press conference. Hannibal has been named the main event against Roman Reigns
Oh,
at
Jesus.
WrestleMania this year.
Is
Hannibal has been
from
Hannibal's
the
put
Hannibal-
into the place.
Well, they
Unbelievable.
should have a steel cage pillow fight so I can take a nap along with anybody who has to watch Hannibal.
yeah. You know who I thought was going to come back tonight would have been Braun Strowman. I thought maybe he was going to,
Eh.
whatever.
You know, it's funny. You named all these names, Joe, and every one of them, I was like, "Yeah, who cares?" You know what I mean? It was like, "Who cares?" It's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
It's a better who cares as opposed to I forget who it
understand.
was that came out. They got no response when they come out. These people, I forget who it was, but they all of a sudden there they were at the Amber Fry or whatever Fry from
Yeah,
NXT.
Amber Fry.
She
Yeah.
came out. Everyone's
Yeah.
like,
Scott Peterson's girlfriend.
That's right. That's right,
Oh,
Ben.
my
I could see everybody in
God.
the stands going, "Who the fuck is this? Like, what is going on here?"
Yeah.
You know,
Here
I've
co- here
been
comes-
sitting
here comes
for 5 and
Ivar.
a- I've been sitting here for 4 hours, and this is what I'm getting. Like, I don't, because
Mm.
I noticed like all the fans, they were standing most of the night. They were
Yeah.
waiting. They were waiting for that pop, that something, and
see,
they didn't
if
get it.
I was booking it, and I'm serious about this, I would have made a call to Wendy Richter and have her come out at like number 20. Like she gets thrown out right away, but at least it's like, oh my
Yeah,
god, it's
something.
Wendy
Yeah.
Richter.
Oh my god. Yeah. They didn't have no throwbacks either. No Lita, no Trish Stratus.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
They threw out the name Papa Shango a couple of times. I was expecting him to come out.
Yeah.
Really? Really?
I
Well,
mean,
I
you
heard
have to
somebody
admit-
say it. Yeah.
Why
The
didn't they
Men's
bring
Royal
back the
Rumble, was
boogeyman?
there any
The
I was
surprise?
just going to say the boogeyman.
The boogeyman. Have him come out. You know.
Yeah,
Here comes Nails, and boy, he sure looks mad.
he could eat crickets instead of worms. Yeah.
I think the Godfather would have got a good pop. You know,
Unreal.
with the whole train
You,
and all
you,
that.
you know
stuff.
what? Maybe that's what was really wrong with this Rumble too. There were no real surprises, like no fun
No.
surprises.
Nothing.
No.
And the fans wanted it. They were, every time that clock ticked, they were like,
I mean,
"Give me something to cheer about," you know. And it was
I
like,
would have loved the Rumble if Marty Jannetty came out. That would have been great.
Would have been great.
That would be awesome.
Somebody could have been
Oh,
killed.
cry.
Like,
He's
come on.
stretching himself out to the ring.
Imagine
Hey,
if
Grandma,
Vince,
You know, how about we're not talking about what about the Hulk,
Oh my
what about the
God,
Hulk Hogan video at the beginning? The Hulk Hogan video at the beginning.
oh my
Like,
God.
He had to sit down to do that video, and you can only see a quarter of his 24-inch pythons. I mean, I know he's shrinking. If you've seen him in real life, he's like got 2 canes now. But it's like,
Oh,
you know, okay, let's get that should have been our thing, our key to what this Rumble is going to be tonight.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan friggin' saying, "Go get it, brother."
Yeah, well,
Dude,
Either
so
that,
sh-
or
Yeah.
the Visit Clearwater commercial that he
Oh
did.
yeah,
What
and
was
he
Yeah.
said that too. He's like, "Oh, it's beautiful down here." And oh, it's beautiful. Oh, my son gets arrested for drunk driving twice. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah,
to
coming
come
out on
out.
Friday night, you might see Nick being pulled over.
Yeah, actually, you could see Nick DJing on Friday nights. And then
Oh,
he gets
Benny,
no.
Come
And
on
by
down,
the way,
you
my
guys.
daughter got married, and I didn't go to the wedding, so I don't know. You know, it's like it's a beautiful place down in Tampa. Where's
Oh my
Buffalo
God.
Love Sponge?
How about
We need
this?
Buffalo Love Sponge.
A,
Where
mess,
is-
or a message from Marty Jannetty.
But yeah, you need subtitles underneath. Like, what the fuck's this guy's name?
I think I killed the guy. I think I killed the guy. I think I killed him. He's behind the dumpster, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not
my
sure.
God. Oh, you know, Maria Davis says they should have brought Virgil back.
Oh yeah,
That would've
there
been
you
fun.
go. Oh, Virgil. That would have been
great.
You know
I
what?
can only imagine what he'd be wearing.
You bring back every wrestler that can't move anymore. That would be classic.
Interesting.
I think that's one of the black
Can't move
dildos.
enough to get
Arrow,
rid of the
interesting.
Interesting. Here
That's
comes
one of the-
Bret Hart comes charging out. Yeah, okay.
One of the
All right,
black
that's
dildos
great.
that Vince McMahon was using was named Virgil, I think, because he had a black and a white.
That should have been an
Dildo,
entrance. The
so.
black dildo. That was like
Yeah.
number 29.
It's Virgil.
Wait a minute.
The other
Do you
was
really
SD.
do you believe those stories? Oh, come on. He has names for them. Stop it. It's like these stories are ridiculous. It's like
They're so.
it's
so.
like
I don't know.
so out of there. It's like let me shit on your head and we'll just keep going. And hold on, let me pull out my dildos that I have names of. What are you reading there? What do you got there, Joe?
Here's ready. We got a tweet. This is from February 5th, 2021. McMahon sent Ms. Grant to establish a schedule for when other men, including the physical therapist and obviously John Laurinaitis, they could have sex with. Ms. Grant attempted to rebuff. This is Vince McMahon. Exactly, baby. He's not the only one. Blank called me this afternoon begging to eat you and fuck you with his nice, hard dick. So her response was, give me another week, baby, and I'll be ready. I'm feeling more like myself. It's not great. It's getting better. Tell him soon. And then he goes on to say, I already told him, baby, by the way, Johnny wants Tuesdays, but not this coming one, the occasional Saturday, but maybe I can shift it to Thursday nights. Johnny would like all the above. You know, that her response right there is based on the fact that she had so much shit shoved up her ass and everything. She needed to take a break. That's what this lawsuit exemplifies.
Let
That
me
she
ask you,
needed to
what
take
did
a
you
He
break.
called him
what-
baby.
Wouldn't you be
He's calling him
embarrassed to
baby.
even?
Does that sound like a victim to you?
Wouldn't you be embarrassed to sue somebody
Oh
and
my
like have
God.
that out there?
It's
It's
crazy.
like, give me another week, baby.
Oh my
I'll be
Give me
gone.
another
I
week.
got another response. Yeah, I can barely read it.
The herbal essence hasn't taken all the shit out
Let
of
me
my hair
stretch it a
yet.
little
Need another
farther.
week.
You can't put it all in there.
Freaking player.
The text, the
Oh, your
text
hair is
message
such a
here,
luster.
the text message on this one basically talks about Johnny Laurinaitis changing his phone and them trying to hook up later on and all that stuff. It's just crazy. And
Gee,
then
your hair smells terrific.
and then Vince goes on to say he wants, he wants to have threesomes with other people. Now the lawyers came out today and said they're going to start naming people. This is just the beginning. This is just the
Oh,
law.
great!
That's right.
I
That's
I
right.
can't wait to hear
Destroy
from
more
everybody
lives.
else now.
Well, let's
this is
destroy
the
our
worst.
poor
They're going to
process.
name names. They're going to name.
We
There's
get the
producers
last-
involved. There's producers involved.
We get
that were
this
part
list,
of all
but
this.
we have no idea who was on Epstein's island, really.
Well, yeah, and don't suggest that you'll wind up like Aaron Rodgers. You say
But
one name.
I
We'll
have to say something
Mike will be
because
getting letters tomorrow, so don't
Eh.
nobody speculate, please.
As a
Unbelievable.
writer,
Yeah.
I read that entire document, the 67-page PDF.
Yeah.
It did not sound like it was written by a lawyer.
Well, he was just telling her story.
Yeah, but it sounded like something that like I would write for Pro Wrestling Stories.
No,
Or Penthouse Forum.
it's definitely
What, and then- wait a minute, and
50
then Evan
Shades
would
of Grey.
edit
50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Vince. 50 Shades of Vince. That's what it is.
Wait a
It should
minute.
be
Send
in
that doc.
Gilbert Godfrey could narrate it.
On sale now. at local
Okay.
bookstores.
Farrow's right. Send that document over to Ginsburg. He'll edit it for everybody.
Yeah, he'll edit it for
Vince
you.
fisted her.
It's defecated, not shit. Keep it
Yeah.
clean.
Maria Davis says maybe that's why Vince is on a cane. He can't walk right.
Oh,
Wait a minute. But that's the other thing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did this happen? 2020.
Last couple of years.
2019 to 2022.
The guy's 76.
That
Right.
78.
Again.
78.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
76
So-
then.
Well,
Yeah, correct.
he was
Okay.
younger then.
So he was 73, 74. Yeah.
Okay, come on now. Let's get
Yeah.
realistic.
Yeah.
Let's get realistic. Sooner or later, this stuff just isn't working anymore. And you
The
know,
man-
as
the
great
man
as
is
the
a
genetic
python.
jackhammer is,
He's a python, baby.
Well, that's why
This is-
I gave them instructions and watched.
I'm telling you what. I bet you if they name Brock
Unbelievable.
Lesnar in the suit, he's going to sue her to death.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
gonna
Oh,
destroy
God.
her.
Oh,
I
God.
guarantee that's why they're
What if
not
they-
naming
but-
him.
But Mike, what if they have proof though? What if there's actually solid proof?
Proof
that,
of what? Here, I sent you a picture of myself naked.
No, wait,
Okay.
you want to know what actually happened? Because the dinner was set up by Vince for Brock, well, this UFC champion, and it was set up between Brock and her. And believe it or not, by the end of the night, it says in there that this UFC athlete champion wannabe, whatever, in between contracts, whatever, WWE was too intoxicated to perform. So Lesnar actually got shit faced and didn't do anything. So
Well,
and
let
that
me
was
ask you
a
this.
dinner.
Let me ask
That
you
was
this,
a,
Joe.
that was a dinner
Didn't-
that was arranged.
Didn't Brock Lesnar walk out the night that Vince resigned the first time?
Yeah. he
So
walked
if
out,
Brock
yeah.
was privy to all this before, why would he stand so strongly behind Vince then?
Yeah.
Everything does not match up.
Well, we know
And
why
you know what?
John Laurinaitis got resigned at that time because after the investigation. So they kind of knew he was in on something, whether it was a cover up or something like that. But let's fast forward to this week. What was it? Patrick, the announcer, got let go. I mean, he not only got let go. Like it was first came out that he was being let go from SmackDown, but then he gets fired the next day. So you got to start questioning all these moves now. Are they starting to get rid of the people that were around then? You know what I mean? There's going to be every name named.
Or maybe it's just a major change in the company now, and they've decided to let go of
Could be.
people.
The timing couldn't be worse, though. You know what I
Okay.
mean? You know what I mean?
But-
Fire him next week.
So-
Let him.
So
Let him.
let me ask you this. So Vince does this with this girl, and again, I understand she's a subordinate because he made the mistake by hiring her. So
Right.
that is a problem. I agree with
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
put that to the side. Why isn't Maddox, Soraya, that whole thing, right? That whole
Yeah.
Xavier
porn
Woods.
mess. Why isn't that a big deal? You know what I'm saying? It's like, again, it's just, it's like we have this habit of tearing people down and destroying them. And it's
Yeah.
finally all the Vince haters have finally got something else to grab onto.
Right.
Why? Because he took the territories away. Think how fucking
It's so
fucked up
ridiculous.
that is. I
It
want
is.
you dead. You took away Georgia Championship Wrestling from me.
You
Don't laugh,
fucking
guys. There's
Crockett.
people
You
out there that
screwed
think
Jim
like that.
Crockett. Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
there are people that think like that. It's true.
Well, they need to be committed then. So that's the thing with that. I mean,
Yep.
you turn on NBC News, you see a story about Vince McMahon. I don't think someone's screaming at the thing going, "You stole my territory. Georgia Championship Wrestling was the best. I can't believe you did that." I don't think that's what people are seeing. They are putting Vince in they're putting Vince in a negative light because that's what gets ratings. That's what people want to hear.
All
this garbage.
Let's go. Go ahead, Phil.
All I can say is Jerry McDevitt took the wrong year out to retire, man. They really need him still.
He'll be back. Call him out of retirement.
I hope so.
Bring him in.
Yeah.
All right, so let's close it out with, let's give a final grade for the Royal Rumble. We'll start with Benny and then go to Phil and then go around and then we'll send us off.
Do we give it a number grade or a letter grade?
Whatever you like. You start, you decide, and then we'll follow
I'm going to
suit.
give it a C+. Yeah, I mean, it was okay. I mean, I didn't fall asleep watching it, but and the funny thing is, Rock came out at number 30. I'm giving it an A. It just that was what I was waiting for, and it didn't happen.
Well, Benny, I was going to give it a Z+ because I was actually falling asleep during it. So
there you go.
3 Z's, baby.
Triple Z.
I'm going to say a C-, being that we didn't even really get to discuss the final match that much because we got distracted.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes won.
Are you reviewing the show tonight, Bruce, or review or the show itself?
I think listen, our show is way better than the Royal Rumble.
I give our show an A-, right?
Okay.
Solid A.
All right.
I agree.
Phil, be serious though, Mr. President. You can't give it a Z+. It's your responsibility as the president of Thursday Nights to give it a letter grade. So Z+ doesn't work. Come on, Phil. What do you got? What's the grade?
B+.
A B+.
Wow. Maybe B.
Maybe a B. All right. He sounds like Clinton now. He didn't have sexual relations with that pay-per-view. Okay. All right. So we're gonna have it a B. We got player at C+. We got a B, and we got C- from Bruce. How about you, Joe?
I'm gonna do two things. For athleticism, I'll give it an A because those guys perform like unbelievable stuff. As for entertainment-wise, I got to go with a C+. We're still left with so many goddamn questions as to what's going to happen next. Usually the Rumble at least paints some type of picture. I think Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins up in the balcony, they only showed them at the end, was probably exciting to move it up to that C+ because, Cody Rhodes could pick Seth or Roman, but Michael Cole was adamant that it's going to be Roman Reigns. But we still have no direction with the rest of WrestleMania. We have no direction with the women. We don't know what's going to happen with that. And all the other sidebars. I think Nia Jax and Jade Cargill, that's going to be your little vendetta for the next few weeks or a couple months until Mania. So overall, C+. That's my grade.
All right. Mike, you want me to take it next?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Basically, I'm with Phil on this one. And it really, once again, back to the Yankees, it was a B. It should have been an A+, just like the Yankees should have an A+ season most of the time, but instead it turned out to be good. The storylines made sense. I mean, if you're going to have Punk and Rhodes at the end and you're not going to get The Rock, one of the two should win, and Cody's there to finish the story. So we played it Hal Steinbrenner safe. I'm going to give it a B. It was serviceable, was solid.
Serviceable. I fucking love that word.
It wasn't what we wanted. We want the Yankees to get to the World Series every year. If you're from New York, you want the Yankees to get to the World Series every year. And Reggie Jackson did not come out, meaning The Rock. So it goes from A+.
Jimmy, Bruce is saying, no, if you're saying it's serviceable, it should be a C.
No, because John Cena is serviceable, and he's not a C, my friend. He's at least a B, and I can't stand him.
Joe Sal saying he was in attendance. You could hear crickets until Jade came out in the women's event. So that
seems about right. Seems about right.
Yeah.
What do you say, Mike?
I'm gonna leave it like this. If the expectations weren't set so far in advance on this Rumble, it would have been a B. Okay, maybe even a B+. Right. But since there was so I had never wanted to watch a Royal Rumble in my entire life of watching wrestling more than I wanted to watch this one.
Okay.
Because it had so many things that could possibly happen here.
The creative
and they failed on every end. You know
played
what?
it
I didn't
safe.
think about it but Jimmy said it right. They played it safe. They did
Yeah.
exactly what everybody expected. They gave you Bailey, they gave you Cody Rhodes. So guess what? The wrestling fan can't be angry because was the road we were all going down anyway. But they
Right.
had set the bar so high for this, they blew it. And
Yeah.
so personally, I'm going to be honest with you. I fell asleep during the men's Royal Rumble for about 25 minutes. I
Wow.
woke up with Cody and CM Punk, the last ones in there, and I was staring, and it was so
You didn't miss anything.
safe.
You
It
didn't
was
miss
like,
anything.
wow. So I'm going to give it a C.
Real
Okay.
quickly, does anybody get those emails from WWE, the council emails? Is anybody on the WWE fan council?
No.
I get them. So I'm going to get an email tomorrow, and they're going to have me grade the Royal Rumble, and it's going to be interesting to see what they ask. So
I don't know about Joe. That's nice. I could care less.
hey, did you guys know I went to high school with Missy Beefcake?
No way.
I gotta go.
Benny,
Wait,
did you just hear that?
Joe,
Did you hear that?
flip-flop. You gotta find my
That made the
flip-flop,
night
bro.
work for me now. I mean,
Oh.
now my night is an A.
Did you ever know
Unbelievable.
that went to high school with Missy Beefcake?
Unbelievable. That should have been the ending of the pay-per-view. I'm telling you.
What? Joe, I gotta write the WWE and get you.
You gotta
hired.
love her reaction though when you said that, Mike. That was classic. I mean, I've never heard her scream like that ever. Like, oh my god. I think I heard her in the hallway screaming like that. I think she did that when she was younger.
I'll tell you who gets an A though is all the people in the chat room that are still hanging with us at 1:30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody's in there having a good time. Jeez.
Nice.
Somebody mentioned Sasha Banks, RJ Hudson. So does this mean Sasha Blanks is all elite? What do you think? You think she's coming back? I thought for sure. I told everybody when the lawsuit thing happened, they'd have to pull out all the stops to make us forget about everything, and they didn't do that tonight. They did the opposite. They did the opposite. They played it safe. It was serviceable. I love that, Jimmy. I
was.
said to Jimmy.
That's
long
usually a
time
word
ago,
used with hookers.
The greatest move Tony Khan could do for AEW is get Sasha Banks.
Oh yeah,
she's a needle mover. How long the needle? Again, I just saw the WWE destroy CM Punk tonight. I really mean that.
Yeah.
Way. Like CM Punk lost everything tonight. I was like, oof, this is just so. Again,
he literally got buried. He's buried. He got buried tonight. There's no doubt about it.
When he beat Seth
He's
Rollins for the championship at WrestleMania on night one, we'll talk about this some more because that's what's going to happen most likely. But
yeah,
that'll be his receipt for what he did tonight.
Okay,
Pretty much.
Yeah,
that's what I
Good
think.
point. All right. Well, with that, I want to thank you guys for a wonderful show and
good stuff.
A wonderful Royal Rumble, and maybe we'll do this at 7:30 in the morning after the Australian one. What do you think of that one?
God, you're not getting me up.
I'll be getting off of work.
We should just go live during the pay-per-view. That's what we should do. Just go live. Critique it as it goes
Grayson
along.
Waller will probably
Watch
win
along.
everything that night. Grayson Waller will probably win everything that night.
Oh yeah, Grayson. Yeah. What was that all about, Grayson Waller tonight? Like that was just like
that was terrible.
By the way, what happened
filler.
to what happened to what's his name? The Lawler's partner.
Austin
Like that guy
Theory?
is. Yeah, he's just buried. It's like forgotten. God.
And then you get the Authors of Pain that came out, Karrion Kross's crew.
Oh,
Like,
and by the way, I meant to
like-
mention that it doesn't matter what Karrion Kross does.
Nah,
It's
he's
over.
Yeah.
The guy
Done.
it's
Oh, yeah,
over. It's just bad. Everything
had-
with that guy is bad.
But he
Yep.
had such momentum, and then I don't know what happened. I think when he blew his hamstring out or something like that, he blew his knee out. He had really good momentum a couple of years ago, and then all of a sudden he got buried. And tonight was just another classic case of that. Because his entrance with Scarlett is awesome. I don't know why they didn't carry that on. I don't know why they didn't just keep.
Well, most importantly, why did they have him grow his hair back?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I mean, what's in a look? Oh, I don't know. Everything.
Yeah. No shit. He's serviceable now. That's what it is. So
I don't even know if he's that because, like I said, serviceable. And Mike knows this. Mike's a big John Cena guy, and I've always hated John Cena. but he is so serviceable, and that's why I gave this a B. He's serviceable. I can't say John Cena is a C. That would be lying. That would be being ignorant. You know, he was C serviceable.
That reminds me real quick. R-Truth did the John Cena tonight. That was a big pop for the crowd. You can't see me. That was good.
That's right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Cena's
You know
not
what?
even in the building, and he's getting.
Now
a
that I was
big pop.
thinking about it, when Bruce said, "Would you be happy watching a pay-per-view?" Imagine buying front row tickets to that for $4,000.
Okay, now
Now
I'm mad.
I would have been angry.
And,
Now I'm mad.
and standing all night and standing all night. But did you notice the sign placements were everywhere? You know, it was like, what was it? CM Punk. There was something about CM Punk that was in the front. They always had a sign for the match. Like those plants are getting too obvious now. It's way, way too scripted now.
You know what? Guess what, guys? It's not our wrestling anymore.
No.
It hasn't been for a long time.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, guys. God bless. Have
All
a great
right.
night.
All righty.
Everyone
Good
have a
night,
good
guys.
night. You guys
Good
take
to
care.
sleep.
Take care.
Later.
Take care.
What
Good
a
seeing you
day.
all.
What a day.
What a day, Joe.